Hey, what's going on everybody? Jay here and welcome to the Ship Life. So in some breaking news, we have an update regarding the outbreak that took place on board the NCL Breakaway. I'm sure most of you have heard by now, originally it was 10 cases, that has now been up to 17 cases, being passenger and crew now that have contracted the virus. Now I'm going to go over the details available so far, as well as toward the end give you some information that you will not hear about anywhere else when it comes to the cruise ship industry, so you should probably stick around for the entire thing. By the way, real quick, before we sail into all of this, I do want to apologize to all you for being MIA for the past couple days while all this was going down. Unfortunately, as most of you know by now, my dad does have stage 3 lung cancer, and I'm the only one available in the family that has the flexible hours to kind of take care of him. So I've been trying to just kind of juggle all of that. On top of that, I've been feeling a little under the weather myself. It's not COVID though, believe it or not, especially this time of year. People still do get regular sick. But anyway, guys, just let you know what's going on. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So to briefly catch everybody up to speed, 2 Sundays ago, back on November 28th, the NCL Breakaway sailed out of New Orleans carrying 3,200 passengers. Now at full capacity, the NCL Breakaway can hold just under 4,000 passengers, so it wasn't full, but it was pretty close. Now the ship did stop at 3 ports of call, being Belize, Honduras, and Mexico. The ship was set to return a week later back in New Orleans on the 5th, and then on the 4th, they tested all the passengers and crew, come to find out that there were 10 positive cases of COVID on board. Now, of course, you know, the media, they ran wild with this, calling it an outbreak, which, here's the deal. I'm a little confused because as somebody that's been reporting on this since the very beginning last year, like around February, March of 2020, what is considered an outbreak? What is the magical number? If somebody knows, let me know. Is it more than 5 cases, 10 cases, 15? I'm a little confused. Anyway, the NCL Breakaway has officially returned back to New Orleans this past Sunday on the 5th, and since then, an additional 7 cases have been reported, being among the crew, bringing the total to 17. Now, are there more? I don't know. But of course, as you could assume, the media is running wild with this. There is article after article talking about the outbreak on board the NCL Breakaway, and that it is probable that the Omicron variant is possibly on board because they said apparently there's a South African crew member that may have or may not have had the virus. Now, here's the thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit and bothers me. How do they know that this crew member from South Africa happens to have the Omicron variant? You could say, well, he's from South Africa, and this is supposed to be the origin or source of this new variant. Yes, that's probable, right? But if you guys don't know, for the crew members to get on board the ship, it is a very long process. And also keep in mind they can't get off the ship. Let's say this crew member is coming from Botswana or somewhere in South Africa. In order to even get from, let's say, Botswana or South Africa over to the United States to where the NCL Breakaway is, it's a very long process for them. There's training, there's testing, there's a week to 2 weeks of quarantine back at home. And then after they arrive to the US, you're talking about another week to 2 weeks at a hotel, followed up by another week to 2 weeks of isolation inside the ship. So you're telling me that, let's say, when did this all come about with the Omicron variant? I believe the alarm or the alert came out of South Africa around the 24th of November. They're saying the first real reported case was around the 22nd of November. Yeah, so if you really think about that, you put it all together, you're saying that this man has carried this virus for over a month. So it's either that, which would be insane, or you're saying that possibly there's 2 cases of the Omicron variant because since the crew can't get off, they must have contracted from a guest, which is extremely alarming, especially considering that if you're going to sail with an NCL ship, you must be fully vaccinated. All the guests and crew are fully vaccinated. Now, is this a cause for alarm? Maybe in the sense that people that are fully vaccinated are now causing an outbreak on a ship, and, you know, the media's words is an outbreak. But is it a reason to cause this mass hysteria? No. As somebody that's been talking about this since the very beginning of the pandemic, is anybody hospitalized because of this? No. Is anybody, passing away because of this? No. I personally don't like, and this is why I stopped reporting on this. I hate when the media blasts this up because they're even, of course, they're going back to the beginning of the pandemic and just reiterating that and reminding everybody that the cruise ship industry was the source or a big source of the spread of the coronavirus back in, 2020, which is not the case. And even if it was, as most of you know, there was very little known about this virus in February, March of 2020. So the cruise lines couldn't have done anything because nobody else was doing anything at the time because very little was known. Anyway, guys, I don't want to make this a rant. This is a very crazy accusation. It's weird to me that I'm seeing all this Omicron talk. How did it get on the ship? I'm legitimately curious. Now, some additional information as well for some people out there that may be a little concerned about all this and then blame the cruise lines for spreading everything back on land once they got back to New Orleans. There is a very good health and safety protocol that's approved by the CDC that the cruise lines are implementing right now. So the people that have tested positive, they are going to get a private vehicle back to their home, or if it's a serious situation, they are going to pay NCL, that is, for the accommodations for that person that has tested positive. Also, every single passenger or crew has already been tested as well, so they're checking to see if anybody else tests positive. Along with that, the passengers that are going home that tested negative, they are also getting a take-home test kit in which they will test again in 3 days. Well, what's today? The 7th, so they should be testing again tomorrow to check and see if they have the virus. Now, as far as the Omicron, apparently there is one case that was contracted by somebody over in New Orleans already on the 3rd. So if there should be another passenger or crew member that contracts it again, then I guess there's going to be a cause for concern. But also, again, I just want to reiterate that this Omicron variant has not caused any deaths, has not caused any hospitalizations. I know there's been a lot of uproar and fear and everything, but I've been talking about this all along throughout the pandemic. If there's no deaths, there's no hospitalization. I know they're saying the Omicron variant can transmit twice as fast as the original virus. But again, if it's not causing any deaths, thankfully, and it's not making anybody be sent to the hospital, there is really no cause for concern to some degree. I understand some people are going to get on here and say, well, it's still a virus we're dealing with. Yes, I agree. But a lot of people that are still cruising are probably still going to cruise. In fact, if it wasn't for the things I got to take care of with my family, I'd be cruising right now. So there is going to be the big question, is cruising safe right now? I would say yes, the cruise lines are doing everything they need to do. And the fact that they've been able to catch these cases and they're handling it the way they're doing it, NCL is doing a great job. So is there a reason for people to stop cruising? No. The mainstream media just needs to stop gassing all this up to something that it doesn't need to be. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this right here. I'm sorry if this is a little bit of a rant. I did go over the details and whatnot. And if there is an update, I'll be sure to let all of you know. Of course, as most of you know, I did work for NCL. So I do have friends on board the NCL Escape and on the Breakaway and a couple other ships as well. So, I got my ears and eyes all over the place, but I'll be sure to update you guys. Of course, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about all of this. I appreciate all of you. I have another video coming out tomorrow, but until then, I'll see you all later. Take it easy.